This is a new Callaway Apex Ai200 and then an Ai300 irons. And with these clubs, Callaway is not only trying to make it easier for people to understand what the Apex family is all about, but also deliver all new levels of performance and feel. Now, for people who may be relatively new to the golf equipment world, the name Apex is sort of a holy thing. Apex was originally one of the irons that was sold by the Ben Hogan Golf Equipment Company. And anytime you're talking about Ben Hogan and you're talking about irons, you're talking about some stuff that was some of those beloved golf equipment out there by one of the most revered and respected golfers that ever lived. Now, Callaway purchased the Ben Hogan Golf Equipment Company, but eventually sold the company around 2013. However, it retained the rights to the name Apex. Now, Apex irons have run the gamut over the years from better player irons that are in tour players' bags, like you'll find Apex TCBs in John Rahm and Xander Schauffele's bag, to other Apex irons that are game improvement clubs and even max game improvement clubs. But now with the new Apex Ai200 and Ai300, Callaway is trying to make the Apex brand a little bit easier for everybody out there to understand and to know. Now, from a technology standpoint and from a construction standpoint, the Ai300 and the Ai200 are pretty much the same club, except the Ai300 is going to be a little bit larger. Its top line is a touch thicker, it has a little bit more offset, the sole width is a little bit wider. But in terms of the construction and the way these clubs are built, what's inside of them, they are pretty much identical. The Ai300, because of its size and a little bit of additional offset, is probably going to be handicapped, I'd say roughly between say 10 and 20, whereas the Ai200 is probably going to be a little bit better suited for a slightly more advanced player. I'm going to say somewhere between say a 6 or a 7 if somebody's looking for a better player's distance iron, probably up to about a 12 or a 13. So from a construction standpoint, very, very similar. You just have one that's slightly bigger and one that's slightly smaller. And when it really comes down to it, the Ai200 is taking the place of the standard Apex iron within the Callaway family. Now, anytime that Callaway has a golf club that has an AI on it, we can pretty much assume that that means it's going to mean artificial intelligence. And Callaway has really, more than just about any other brand out there, invested and really entrusted a lot of its engineering into the power of supercomputing and artificial intelligence. Now, when it comes to the Ai200 as well as the Ai300 irons, Callaway specifically instructed its supercomputers and directed it to come up with face cups that essentially are going to provide the most distance and the most forgiveness possible across the widest portion of the hitting area. And they did it specifically for the types of players that are going to likely be using these game improvement clubs. These are not built for tour players. You're not going to see, again, John Rahm or Rose Zhang or Xander Schauffele using the Apex Ai200 or 300 irons. It's going to be recreational golfers like us. And we have certain types of hitting patterns and certain ways that we present the golf club to the ball that are going to be different than the way that tour pros hit the ball. And so the faces of these irons are constructed differently than the faces of the irons that are going to be put into tour player bags. So while the bodies of these golf clubs are going to be forged from 1020 carbon steel, which is a very, very soft material, the faces of these clubs, the cup face designs, are actually going to be forged out of 450 Carpenter steel. So these irons, being hollow, are going to allow the face to deflect a lot more effectively, to bend more effectively and more efficiently at the moment of impact to get greater distance. But because of the artificial intelligence on the inside of these faces, the inside facing portion of it, it's going to have a series of bumps and ridges and thicker and thinner areas. So you're going to get better performance across a wider portion of the hitting area than you otherwise would. Now, to further enhance feel, Callaway has injected inside each one of these hollow body heads urethane microspheres. Now, urethane microspheres are essentially going to be a urethane, it's sort of a soft foam-like material, a polymer type material that has in it millions and millions of microscopically small little glass bubbles. And essentially what this does is that at the moment of impact, that material is going to compress and support the face without inhibiting it from flexing, but it is going to soak up a lot of the vibrations and a lot of the different sort of harsh feels that are going to be created with your shot. So it's going to enhance feel, it's going to enhance the sound, improve all those things, but it's not going to slow down the face or you're not going to lose distance because of it. So it's that combination of the urethane microspheres along with the 1020 carbon steel, again, that really soft material, that according to Callaway is going to amplify the feel and give you better feel on the Apex Ai200s as well as the 300s, while that 450 Carpenter steel face is going to give you the distance. Now, on the back of these irons, you're going to notice that there is a faceplate that has a couple of screws in it. That faceplate is adjustable for custom fitters, and it allows them to basically change and alter the swing weight on these irons. It also cosmetically is going to make the new Ai200 and Ai300 irons match up very, very well with the currently running Apex Pro irons as well as the Apex TCB. So there's going to be this cohesive look throughout the Callaway Apex iron family. They're all going to look and blend together much more easily, which should be a really good thing for recreational players who work with a custom fitter, because you should be able to mix and match these clubs very, very easily to create your own blended set. The lofts on the Ai200 and the Ai300 are within 1 degree of each other, with the Ai200 being 1 degree weaker through the set than the Ai300. So if you work with a good custom fitter, you could go with the Ai300s in your long and mid irons, and then with your scoring club, switch over to Ai200s if that's something you prefer. Okay, so looking at the 200 and the 300, you know, as I look at them here, I can see that the 200 has a slightly narrower sole. But when I set them down, I'll tell you what, it's not that big a difference. They look very, very similar. Is the 200's top line a little bit thinner? Yes. In the address position, I can definitely see it's a touch thinner. That this clearly is a set that just begs to be blended together. You know, I think that there's just no doubt that with the looks of these two and the fact that they are built and constructed in such a similar way, that blending a set for many recreational players between the Ai200 and the Ai300 might definitely be the way to go. Definitely easy to get up in the air. It's really nice. It's got a solid feel to it. That went. Yep. Boy, that's nice. It's a really strong, solid whack to it. Stout stuff. All right, let's try the 200 and see if we notice any perceptible, any real differences to this. Boy, I like that. That is nice. Let's go one more of this 7-iron here at Ai200. Oh, really thin, but tell you what, it held pretty true. Okay, 7 irons away. Let's try out the 5 irons. We'll start out with Ai300, and then we'll try the 200 one more time. Yeah. Yeah, like that. Everything left. Okay, so now having hit the Apex Ai300 as well as the Ai200, here are my thoughts. Number one, I think from a visual standpoint, they both look extremely similar in the address position. Yes, you do see that the Ai200 has a slightly thinner top line and a little bit more offset, but from a looks perspective, they are very, very similar. So again, I think that mixing and matching these clubs will be pretty easy for a lot of golfers. I think that they both have a very similar feel to them. It is a soft feel. Is it as buttery soft, for example, as a muscleback blade? No, but when you consider that this is going to be a game improvement club, that it is a hollow body iron that has a material on the inside that's designed to enhance softness and reduce vibration and improve the sound, I think it does a really good job of that. I think that it might be a little bit of a push for the Ai200 to really be considered a better player's distance club, especially when you've got in the Callaway lineup the Apex Pro. I think that the Apex Pro is probably going to still be a little bit more appealing to more accomplished golfers because it has an even smaller blade length and even thinner top line. It is going to give you a lot of the things that I think that are built into Ai200. But I would not be the least bit surprised if in the months or years to come, if Apex Pro goes away. And if Callaway sticks with this sort of naming convention, then all of a sudden Apex Pro becomes Apex 100. I think that obviously the naming convention makes it very easy to understand that the smaller the number, the better the player that the club is really built for, that the higher the number, for example, like the 300, the more stability and power and forgiveness is basically going to be baked into these clubs. So I think the naming convention sticks around. I think Apex Pro probably turns into Apex Ai100. But I will say that when I was hitting a lot of the long iron shots, and I was hitting 5 irons with both the Ai200 and the Ai300, the Ai300's additional offset definitely made me feel like the ball went left a lot more easily. Now, for you, that may be a good thing. If you're somebody who slices and even really struggles with missing your iron shots to the right, that could be a good thing. For me, I tend to hit a draw with my irons, and having the additional offset that's built into the Ai300 with that longer blade length gave me some issues. I think that for me, the Ai200, again, with the shorter blade length, the slightly less amount of offset, this one seemed to be a little bit better fit for me. I hit straighter overall shots with the Ai200. I think, again, because it had less offset than the Ai300. But the only way you're going to know which one of these two clubs is going to be best for you is to work with a good custom fitter. I think that the feel, the sound, the distance were very, very close. I think that they could be an excellent option for players, again, who are looking for that game improvement club. I think clearly the Ai300 is going to be for the higher handicap players. I know that there's a lot of different ways that a person can be a certain handicap, but I think broadly speaking, a 10 to 20 probably for the Ai300, and maybe a 7 or 8 handicap with the Ai200, probably up to maybe like 12 to a 15, somewhere in there. So definitely made for, I think, somewhat similar players, but a more game improvement type club in the Ai300, a little bit more of a game improvement to better player distance iron kind of a thing with the Ai200. So that is the Apex Ai200 and 300, and hopefully you got a lot of information out of this video and I answered a lot of the questions you might have about these clubs. And if I did, it would be really helpful if you would like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. If you have more questions, there's a little bit more clarification I can give you on these clubs or any of the Callaway clubs that are out there, please feel free to drop a comment in the area below. I try and monitor the comments area as best I can and answer as many questions as I possibly can, so definitely feel free to drop me a note in the comment area below and I'll try and help you out. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you again real soon.